I'm telling you, I don't know how you make a fish dude cool, but
Right.
when he was air hopping,
Yeah.
that was some peak Marvel right there.
Yeah.
I was like, this is nice.
Still, got all the things that made Black Panther, and having the tech, the fashion, and the culture. And
It just feels like a tonally different movie, and then Black
yeah,
Panther's on the end of it.
'cause, I mean, like, she didn't really have that many Black Panther scenes. Like, it wasn't a lot. We got a lot of Shuri, but not a lot of Black Panther. And I like the aspect.
Exactly. Black Panther got some good villains for sure.
Yeah.
They
Once they explain like how his powers work, of like how he's basically getting double the oxygen from
Yep.
the water and just regular air, and that's how
Mhm.
he's able to move and like be as strong as he is. And I was like, oh man, that makes perfect sense. He's just going gear 2, like, what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I just wish things didn't end in a stalemate, bro. What did M'Baku say? Belfa.
Oh yeah, in the original one, right?
He did that. They did that, and it was like Belfa, who, Belfa, who.
He's still a great character. He's still a great
Yeah,
character.
he the last man standing.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it. Though. All right. What's going on, y'all? We are back for another week. We took a little hiatus, just getting ready for Black Panther, and just been not a lot of stuff dropping. But we are here today to talk all things Wakanda Forever. So, Chris, how are you feeling going into this pod, man? Because this weekend was lit.
It feels good to be back because we did take that little break. We took some time in the spooky season, and now we're back on our Marvel stuff. And not only back on the Marvel stuff, we're at the end.
Man, last one.
Phase 4.
Yep.
So it feels good to be back on this one. Extremely happy to talk about this one because Wakanda Forever, we were nervous about it.
Man, nervous, not even a word.
What'd you think going into it?
Going into it, I liked the opening, but like just the whole scene before we even got into the movie, it was just already craziness, outside of the theater, because we couldn't even get in that joint just because of the amount of actual actual show times. They were running a little bit behind, so like that in combination of like walking into the theater and the credits are still playing, I almost lost my mind right there. So
much stuff, some craziness.
Yeah, and there was a dog sitting behind us.
Oh yeah, so much stuff happened that's just never happened at a movie theater.
Yeah. So it was definitely fitting for that to be the experience of Wakanda Forever. But I mean, like going into it, I was super nervous just because of all the controversy and what it took to even get this movie made. Like it's been a lot leading up to this moment, and for this to be the final movie of phase 5, I was like, man, like they gotta go crazy, and the opening, like, now we'll get into this. We'll get in more into it, but like as far as like the opening, I think it was good. But they just was already searching for tears, bro. Like, and I didn't cry at this moment, but it was weird because it was silent. Like, it was just like a moment of silence, but it was just like, how the Marvel like intros always go. They always show like the main character in all their moments, but it was just T'Challa, Chadwick, and after that, everybody clapped and everything. And then we was in it, so that's how I felt going into like the actual joint. But what was your feelings going into it?
I was trying not to get spoiled. There are so many people. Yeah. Like you said, we walked into the theater. It's like they had the run times wrong, and then we walked in and the credits were rolling. And I was like,
yeah,
there's no way I'm gonna sit here and then watch like an end credit scene and Thanos comes out from the grave.
Right.
Like I would have been mad.
Yeah.
But going into it, I was a little worried because when they finished writing the script, Chadwick Boseman, right?
Yep.
Boseman?
Yep.
Was still alive, and then he passed afterwards. So it was kind of like they already had the script. So it makes me already nervous when the original intent or original vision is not what
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna watch. So
Right.
that was the main thing, and I was just wondering to see, would I potentially see like two types of movies, like one movie where I clearly seems like this was the original
Mm-hmm.
plan, and then here's the other side of the movie that they filled in later to fill in the
Right.
gaps.
Right.
That's the only thing I was worried going into it, but I
Okay.
think they did a pretty solid job.
Yeah, I did. I do too. It was definitely a solid movie. One of the better Marvel ones that we didn't got this year, just because it's been bad.
100%.
It's been bad.
100%.
But for me, like first takeaways from like the first like initial arc and scene, it was just like an emotional seesaw, bro. Because it's like you're figuring out what's going on. You know, we start off like it's just like boom, like you know, like immediate Shuri's trying to find a way to save T'Challa, and we like, you know, they're trying to recreate the heart shaped herb through this 3D printing thing, which I think was cool. But you know, it was almost a seesaw because it was like it was good and bad things happening, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I was really like, man, this is where we're starting. They're just gonna smack us in the face, you know. And I was just like, man, I hope this is just not like I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, like it went a little bit too close to reality, to like, you know, how they were going to explain everything. Because for me, I thought this was all happening during the blip. That's kind of where I was at, and we didn't really get a clear timeline as far as like, is this present day, you know, or is this still like we went back in time, like, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really sure.
Well, Black Panther definitely was in Endgame, so it's
Yeah.
post blip. But I
Right.
feel what you're saying, like it was very close. I think they definitely did a good job of it, just because they didn't say what T'Challa had exactly, what
Hmm.
was wrong, or what kind of disease
Yeah.
attacked him or whatever. And I
Hmm.
felt like that was a really good touch, because it's hard to even start the movie without just
Addressing it.
getting off, addressing what
Yeah.
happened,
Right.
or why there's no Black Panther anymore. And
Right.
I think they did it in a nice way, where it was kind of like, it's just so unfortunate that this happened, and even in the movie,
Hmm.
everyone was trying their very best to keep Black Panther around, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those diseases that you know
She can't do nothing about
you can't do anything about it, and then
it.
it
Yeah.
just leads all heavily into the movie about dealing with this trauma, carrying
Right.
it, and what happens when your Black heroes
Right.
fall, and all the entire movie is all the characters picking
Yeah.
it up and persevering. So I
Yeah.
think that beginning part was, like I said, they were trying to, make me cry in the
Yeah.
beginning. I didn't get one, but
Yeah. Me neither.
it definitely was a quick way to just address it
Hmm.
gracefully. Because there's not much you really could do at that point.
Yeah. I mean, like there's different ways you can go about it, you know, even in that instance, because like even we just saw Thor Love and Thunder, where, you know, we don't even know if the harp shape or would even work, because Jane, every time she was Mighty Thor, you know, she had cancer. So, you know, every time she became Thor,
Yeah, true.
she,
Good.
you know, nuked basically all the chemo and all the progress she made, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of elements in that, and then there's the whole, you know, Paul Walker thing, where like, you know, he was able to get a double, which was his brother, to finish off his movie type thing, because they were almost done with this. So there's a lot of different approaches, and for me, because this movie definitely deals like about trauma and definitely deals about like loss and the grieving process, I just wish like there was more subtlety in the actual like decisions like in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Because there was if you were watching this movie by yourself, like outside of the theater, like there was moments where like things were just went quiet and you were just
Mhm.
watching. And I feel like outside of that, like you're just like waiting to hear the tears. And I was like, oh, I never really noticed that before until this movie. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, man, I can see all the moments where it's like, okay, yeah, they're expecting to get some cries here, so they're not playing like no music in there. So like there's things like that um I feel like it could have been a little bit more subtle as far as like, not just like fishing for tears,
Yeah.
because it's already sad, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's like we reliving it all over again, literally through the movie, because the first initial scene is not only that, but also his funeral. And like the funeral was beautiful, and you get the whole like Wakanda Forever moment with the casket, and I thought that was really fire. And it was good. It was good, but it was still rough though. I was like, man, I don't know if
It's
I'm gonna
just
be able to
because
do it.
they have to address it, so a lot of the
Yeah.
tone of the movie
Hmm.
is just very serious,
Yeah.
grieving tone. So
Right.
like I said, right after that is like the whole funeral stuff,
Hmm.
and like I don't even there's like very minimal music,
Yeah.
and you
Slow
just
mo.
kind of feel it in the movie,
Yeah.
and like you said, it does kind of feel like they're trying to pull make you
Heartstrings. Yeah.
cry, but
Hmm.
they're just trying to like be as serious as
Yeah.
possible, and it just comes across as a movie like this tone is heavy.
Yeah. But like other than that, I feel like all the intangibles were still there. We still, got all the things that make Black Panther Black Panther, and having the tech, the fashion, and the culture, and multiple aspects. Um, and I don't know about you. Did Wakanda feel a little bit smaller in this movie than the first one?
I mean, to me, we didn't get that much Wakanda for real.
Yeah,
Like we,
I feel like we
I,
went down like one street and that was the whole city. Like I don't
yeah.
know.
To me, I think we saw like a house, a street, and the
Hmm.
main Citadel thing.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, and we went to the ice place again, the Ice Kingdom,
Oh yeah, yeah. The Jabari Kingdom. Yeah.
the Jabari Mountains. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it was just kind of like I don't know. We didn't get that much Wakanda for real.
Yeah. It just felt to me. It felt a lot smaller, and I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird. But you know, other than that, like, what did you think about like the funnies? I feel like this was probably the funniest movie, funniest Marvel movie of the year. Huh?
No way, was it?
I think so. I was geeking in this junk. What was funnier than this?
I did. I don't. Did I even? I think I only laughed at the bald demon joke. You bald
Nah,
headed demon.
nah. Riri had me geeking, bro. Riri
I
had me
don't.
geeking. I don't know. I feel like I laughed at that. I feel like I laughed at a lot of Mbaku stuff. Um,
It. I wouldn't really say it's funny, but it definitely has some fun,
it has the humor that we're used to.
some humor. Yeah, yeah.
You don't
I don't
think?
think it's that funny.
So what was fun? So you think Doctor Strange was funnier?
Probably not. That's what I'm saying. Is it the
You know,
funniest? I don't know.
not
I,
the funniest all time. I'm just saying like this year.
yeah. It to me, Doctor Strange isn't funny either.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe it is, but I'm like it's only like a few jokes that were like dead funny. The rest
yeah.
of the stuff is like this is kind of a little normal. It was almost to the point where I was like, they could have cut these scenes out of here to make it
Mhm.
shorter type thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really need these scenes, but it was cool to see them. But I was like,
Hmm. Yeah. There was definitely parts of the movie I was just like, why are we here? Especially like when it came to like the CIA, and like there was like world building aspects like for like the Thunderbolts and stuff like that, but
yeah,
nothing really that was like, they came and got him at the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess Ross is just the new White Wolf now. Um,
like I said,
but
they have funny scenes in there, and I was just like
yeah.
deep down after seeing the movie, I'm like, they could cut it. It ain't that funny. Like they could have cut a clean 25 minutes from the funnies, and I'd have still walked out saying, "Oh yeah, it was pretty good."
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. So like, what about Shuri though? Like, how did you feel about Shuri in this movie?
Man, in my opinion, this is tough. I really did miss the Black Panther. It just
Yeah.
kind of felt like I'm watching all the side characters.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching all the side characters, and it's not like I hate the side characters. It's just you're not the main character. So
Yeah.
I think she did good,
Mhm.
especially if they rewrote it to be her character.
Yeah.
Like to me, that was shocking. It kind of just seems like this is the entire movie. But she did fine, and she
Okay.
does really hold up a lot of the scenes. I kind of wish they would have went a little darker with her
Man,
character.
what? Yeah.
Because they probably could have leaned into that earlier on, like showing her darker side. They kind of waited to like mid-end movie to be like, oh, she different. She not like
the way to
T'Challa.
tell Black Panther moment for us to see that. Yeah.
And it was like that was heavy then. Her
Yeah.
being a much darker character, and everyone saying like, "Who did you see?" But it was only then. Like I really felt like her grieving could have been a lot harder, and she'd be much more aggressive throughout the entire movie, and much more ruthless. And it slowly built up to like her coming to the realization, like, "Oh yeah, I'm like this." But overall, I thought she was good. It just did make me miss the main guy. Like,
yeah, I agree. Like I can appreciate the journey she went on, like as a character in this movie. But there was definitely still something missing that like would have, you know, if she had always been the main character, have been there, you know, because we're left making a lot of assumptions, and like just because like her whole I don't know what you would call it, but like because she's a scientist, she only deals in reality type thing. Like if that came across more in the first movie or in her other appearances in Marvel movies, like that would have hit a lot more home to like, because I was just like, bro, what is your issue? Like I get it, like I understand, you know, like people take things differently, but you're taking out everybody else for no reason when all they trying to do is help you, you know. And like I understood the frustration. Yeah, like I understood the frustration, but the science behind like why she was acting like that, like as far as like her actions prior, it didn't add up, you know. And it was like I was watching a whole different character like than what we saw in the first movie. But you know, like I did like, you know, how she was a different type of Black Panther in a sense. Like that was her first time suiting up, and obviously she has fighting experience, but you know, she's not T'Challa type beat, you know what I'm saying?
And I kind of wish when she suited up, it was a little bit more epic.
Yeah, of a suit up.
Of a suit up. Because even like them crowning T'Challa like king, like they had that whole battle scene type, and it was just like, oh yeah, he gonna have to earn this crown, you know?
Right.
And this one, it was just kind of like she junked the thing and she flopped down in the suit and is like, oh yeah, we here now.
Yeah, she bent the table. She bent the table and then punched the little mannequin, and it was like, oh, she did get it.
And then she just did like the arm wrestle. And I was like,
that was whack. That was that was super whack. Yeah.
It's just kind of like
yeah.
I'm wondering if they had to shoehorn in a quick way to like get her. Boom! This is the new Black Panther. Everyone's happy. Boom! Boom!
Right.
This scene's good enough. Let's move on to the fight.
Yeah, because I mean, like, she didn't really have that many Black Panther scenes. Like, it wasn't a lot. We got a lot of Shuri, but not a lot of Black Panther. And you know, I like the aspect. I like the aspect of like we getting understanding like her character, like because they said it, like she's not as noble as T'Challa. She's more of a realist when it comes to these things, and she wanted revenge. So like having that aspect to it was cool, but it was like we got that and then nothing came after that. You know what I'm saying?
It just feels like a totally like tonally different movie, and then Black Panther's on the end of it, not necessarily.
Right. Exactly. Now we gotta talk about Namor next because Namor went crazy. Like, what did you think about him?
Black Panther got some good villains for sure.
Yeah,
they do a good job of creating a character and then rounding out, making them look like the best villains.
Right.
Because it's just kind of like the background of Namor they do a good job of when they show their villains,
Mhm.
they kind of have a little bit of area that you're like, I totally understand why they're doing this.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and it they did that with Killmonger and now with
Mhm.
Namor. And then I'm telling you, I don't know how you make a fish dude cool, but
Right.
when he was air hopping,
Yeah.
that was some peak Marvel right there.
Yeah.
I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is
'Cause it
some
it was
tough
a
stuff.
different type of flying. Like, we ain't never seen
Yeah.
no flying like that. We're used to Tony Stark, we're used to Thor, and even if
And
you
it
wanna
just
go into
seemed
DC.
powerful. He's
Yeah,
like, shoo,
like
shoo, shoo. I was like,
right,
oh,
right,
he getting down.
and once they explain, like, how his powers work, of, like, how he's basically getting double the oxygen from
Yep.
the water and just, regular air, and that's
Mhm.
how he's able to move and, like, be as strong as he is, and I was like, "Oh, man, that makes perfect sense. He's just going gear 2." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
so,
Exactly.
um, but, like, I think, like, as far as villains, you're correct. Like, you took the words right out of my mouth, and, they reintroduced mutants as well, but,
They
like,
did.
this was a different kind of mutant because Namor had been alive for a minute. So
Yeah, I think like 600, 700 years they said in the movie, right?
right, right. So
Oh,
um it's setting them back even further. So, like, once we fully get into mutants, it's not such a huge uh disconnect in
yeah,
this
sure.
story. But like you said, like, I like the how from the time he's on screen to the end of his backstory, you know exactly who Neymar is, and he means business. But I also like how the themes continue from the first movie to the sequel, and everything being basically about geopolitical powers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And um, in this instance, Neymar, people found vibranium in the ocean and trying to basically take it for their own without nobody knowing. And this is
Which that
why,
was a dope scene too. The
yeah,
whole sirens in the ocean, and then
mm-hmm,
they sing in, and they're just jumping on, killing everyone. Like that was a little scary too when they were in the water and it went
yeah,
dark. Like, oh, they got
yeah,
some good scenes in this movie.
yeah, because it's like that's such a subtle thing, like, because you could watch that moment and not know what is going, like, why are they jumping in the water, like,
Yeah,
it takes prior context of, like, okay, like, you know anything about pirates and mermaids and stuff like that.
yeah.
That was a whole thing. So I was like, man, this is really cool. And then they had the water bombs as well that were really dope, and just like how you know they go from being blue outside the water to when they're in
Yep.
the water, they're the regular skin tone. And I was like, bro,
Mhm.
this is really cool. And how they bring it back to, like, the Mayans and stuff like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
just culture on culture on culture. And representation matters. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just as much as we love Black Panther, you know what I'm saying, I know people gonna love Namor. And
Oh yeah.
I just like I just wish things didn't end in a stalemate, bro. I just didn't like that. Like, we'll talk more about it, but it was more so like, yes, you got what you wanted, but I just like the decision to come back, like, to leave. You had them on the ropes to leave and say, like, you have 1 week. I was like, bro, why didn't you just take them down now? Like, you just
Uh,
it just didn't make sense.
that was a big L in the movie
Yeah,
for me. It was just so much very movie like. I'm like,
yeah,
and what bothered me was he said like, I will come for Wakanda if you're not gonna join me,
right.
type thing.
Like, he already
And then
warned them once.
yeah, and then him all alone, he pretty much defeated Wakanda.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, why didn't you just take Wakanda there? I just
right,
don't get it. Because the whole point was he was saying Wakanda is the only like country that's on our level.
right.
So if they're on our squad, we're like done for. We're good.
Untouchable. Yeah,
So, but if I have to go to war with them, we'll knock them off first, and then no one else can touch us. So it was just kind of like deep down. I thought about this walking out the movie. Like,
yeah,
why did he have to? It's like he just wanted to be friends with Wakanda deep
yeah,
down
yeah.
because he had it. He killed their leader, and then he was just like, if I kill their leader, they'll somehow like me. I'm like,
Mhm.
bro. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely from the movie. Namor is not a tactician.
Right. For
You
sure.
definitely get the sense.
Yeah. Like for sure you could like he's like because he's been doing this since he was a kid. He's still you can tell he's still at that kid level of like understanding of things
Yeah.
because you know that scene where you know you got the colonizers or whatever and they burn everything down when he went to go bury his mom. He's still that same person now. You
He's
know what
just
I'm
like,
saying?
we'll just defeat them.
Yeah. And you know what did like if he's known about Wakanda this whole time, why is it only happening now? Type beat too. Like you could have came to, you know,
Yeah, I guess he was thinking like the sonars are just now, like they're just now discovering vibranium
yeah,
in their territory. So then he's like, all right, well
right,
now it's time for me to act. But
right,
it's just kind of like, to me, you already acted when you came into Wakanda and murdered the
mm-hmm.
queen.
Yeah.
I just don't get
Oh
why you
my
didn't just
gosh!
take it over. You know?
Don't even get me started about that, bro.
Mm.
Like she didn't have to die. Queen Ramonda did not have to die. She was holding it down, bro. She was carrying Shuri on her back the whole first part of this movie, bro, from a plot standpoint and like a narrative standpoint, because like from the I don't know what you would call it, the world court moment to
Mhm.
like her having her moment is like I lost my whole family. What else I got? You know, like what else you want from me? Type beat.
That was
Like
probably some of the best scenes I've seen in a while in a movie.
yeah, that was just like bro, when she talks, you listen. You know,
That was some peak acting too. Maybe the
yeah,
score's going up. I don't know.
right, right. But like I was so frustrated at the moment that she died because like it was only to service the plot. And I was like, bro, that was so unnecessary. Like she didn't have to die, but she could have just been in a coma type beat. Or like, you know, it's just on life support. And we would have still understood like Shuri just wants revenge because not only did she save Riri Simmons, who we haven't talked about, Riri Williams, who we haven't talked about yet, who's Ironheart, but you know, like that's her mom, and she's been just losing. We've been losing people throughout the whole movie, and that's one of the things where I was like, bro, like the amount of loss that we have to take in these types of movies. I just wish that like I'm waiting for the moment where for us to get a Black Panther movie, it doesn't have to come at the expense of their own people, and it's more so like um you know these people are trying to get into Wakanda, or you know something's happening where like a shipment, like give me a good like a story that's not based on trauma, you know what I'm saying, like, and I'm gonna be happy because even the first movie, you know, like everything leading up to um Killmonger's demise, you know, like I was like, man, like it's just still we fighting each other, you know, like when like the whole time it's like, bro, like um, y'all know y'all the strongest, so act like it type beat, you know, and I want to see the prosperity of Wakanda, like I want to see the great things that they're doing. I want to see them freaking making things that like, you know, you beat on the drum and the bridge open, like show me stuff like that, you know, um. Or just give me moments where you know Black Panther is going on a mission somewhere else, and like it doesn't have to be super like I don't want to say Wakanda focused, but like just super focused on like dang, and I lost another one, dang, you know, Mama gone, dang, like
Yeah, they just really went with it for the theme just because of what B- Chadwick Boseman having to pass away. So it's kind of like
yeah,
we needed to go with a movie that talks about dealing with
mm-hmm.
like dealing with your stars
Right,
fading away, and
yeah,
how do the rest of us
go
uh
forward,
go forward and like
yeah,
persevere and live on, because like I
right,
said, Shuri has a different way of living on. Everyone else had a different way of grieving, and then
yeah,
They all went all the way down to like revenge and stuff too. So
Yeah.
like I get why they did it. And even I guess Neymar's character was similar because when after he buried his mom, it was kind of that grieving of I know what humans are capable of, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna just kill them all type thing.
Yeah.
Like he held on to that grief for years.
Right.
So,
right. And he's just now trying to unleash it. But it's just one of those things I'm like where you can't get away from the thought of like what could have been. You know? Like you can't help it. Like it's going to be there you know, until we start seeing something different. So I still think this movie was all right, but that was just one thing I just, you know, I couldn't get out of my mind. Even when I was writing my review for the movie, like I'm like, man, like yeah, they did it, but like
like deep down, doesn't feel like Black Panther. Did the king die in the first movie? Or he
died in Civil War. Yeah, but they bring him back basically.
Yeah,
like that's where the movie starts off. Like,
and then the queen dies in 2. It seems like they always had the plan to kill the queen in 2. Then
I don't know, but it's like even
the way she went in this movie, I was kind of like really?
That was not And then for me, that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part for me was they reused the line that she used in the first movie when she spoke to T'Challa, when she was like, "Show them who you are," right? She had that real talk with him, and you know that made one of the greatest moments in that movie. But then they reused it in this one, and it was her in the ancestral plane. And I'm like, bro, what was that? Like, you could, if she was in a coma and she woke up for a little bit, you know, like, and she had that moment where like she might have been bedridden, and Shuri came over there like, nah, I'm gonna help you, ma. Da 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 da. She's like, nah, you gotta protect our people. Show them who you are. That would have been the moment, bro. And because we didn't get that, I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all must be running out of time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
They had a lot of time now. They had a lot of time, but it was kind of weird. Like to me, the first Black Panther is much more clear in the direction than this one.
Yeah.
But it's just like I just don't know if they felt it had to be bigger, longer, and have all these moments
this movie
in
was
there.
long. Yeah.
So
yeah. It's weird, bro. It's weird in that sense.
But I was gonna ask you, a major scene, because it kind of slows down a lot of the movie, is when we go to the underwater city. What's it called?
Tolokan.
Yeah. What did you think about them showing off Tolokan, showing off the civilization, and Namor walking through all of it?
I mean, it was just like I hated the suit. Like I was like, nothing about this makes sense. She didn't have no propellers or nothing, and she was just going with them. And I was like, bro, this don't make no sense. Because like when they first showed us the suits, the diving suits or whatever that they recovered, they just went down, like straight down. But she was just,
I feel you.
Oh, this is beautiful. Like,
and like that was a human-made diving suit, wasn't it?
Yeah. How they know how to work it? You know?
How did they know that human diving suit can go down 10,000 meters? I'm pretty sure the pressure would probably crush anything human-made that goes that low.
That suit didn't look like it was supposed to be there. That's all I know. Yeah. It didn't look like it was supposed to be possible. And then even when Nakia came and saved them getting out of it, I was like, bro, no, this is so cat right here. But like as far as like Tolokan in general, I was just like, man, come on, let's speed it up. Let's speed it up, because like it was cool initial like moments, like, ooh, what a underwater city looked like. But then nothing changed as we kept going. We kept seeing the same thing. You know, they was playing soccer underwater. I was like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it was something about that pacing where I was like, all right, I've seen it. We're cool,
right?
I just don't know. I don't know. It
Now,
made me kind of be like, this is so. Maybe if we spent more time actually in the city
yeah,
and like it was an actual part negotiations. I don't know. Like
yeah,
maybe I don't know. Something about it was just kind of like, oh yeah, look at all this world building stuff. Yeah, this is where they come from. Look at the
right,
streets. Look at oh, it's a totally different culture down here. And then it's just like,
yeah,
dang, 25 minutes went away. Like,
right.
all
But
right,
I was like, why were there no streets? Why was it like?
they're in the water.
I
They're
know,
water
but
people.
even in like you look at Atlantis, right? Because the first it was called
Mhm.
Atlantis, but for this movie it's called Tolokan. Like it's in a big dome type thing. You know what I'm saying? And like you still have like, the semblance of a city. But this, it was just like caves on caves and like vibranium sticking out. I'm like, yo, how did I even make this city to begin with? Like, and know, you know what I'm saying? Like, what to do type thing. Because if it was more so of like, they were more like of a nomadic type people, it would have made a little bit more sense in like the way that like the city was structured. But if this is just their city, you know, like I was just like, like I get it. But when it came to wartime, and then he came down and like floated down into his seat, and then hit him with the joint, I was like, bruh, that was hard. I
Like
like
that
that
was
part.
cool. That was cool. But then when it came to wartime, like they
Yeah,
didn't really show off anything crazy. Like
yeah,
Wakanda, they kind of show off. Yo,
right,
we up here. We got these helicopter type things. We got these shield type things. We got
yeah.
armor. And then they literally just have the spears and then they throw the grenades. Like I don't think I saw anything else that was like
And they got
different.
super strength too. I mean,
Yeah,
they climbed up the little thing, but that's not really nothing, you know.
yeah.
I will.
It made me think like they should have at least had some type of I don't know,
They should have been using
like
them whales. That's what they should have been doing. I thought that,
yeah.
like, so it's like, do they have control of the whales, or they just tamed them to use them as
I
transport?
don't know.
Because them whales probably could have knocked that boat over with the quickness. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
It
obviously,
just kind of felt like they should have made that civilization look more powerful world
it was just
wise.
dark. It was dark too.
Yeah. But when they show off the city, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. I get what we're doing here, but I'm
Yeah.
not
What about the
like
sun though?
impressed. Like it was cool. Like it's definitely a cool concept, but it's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna show off the sun
That don't
inside the
make
thing.
no
I'm like,
sense to me though. Because wouldn't they just
bro.
burn up? You know what I'm saying?
But think about
It's
that.
just
He
light
Namor
though.
was able to build like a sun generating thing into the
Yeah.
ocean, yet their technology they didn't
They was still
have
like,
anything.
yeah, like their actual weapons and like and stuff. Like they didn't have no weapons. They just
I don't even think they
they
had
had
anything that
spears.
propelled stuff forward.
Yeah,
I
like
think they
everything they
still
was
threw.
using was like, yeah, everything they used like the different whales and stuff to like throw things, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I that we spent a lot of time there, you know?
But
And
that
for
we
her
spent
to
so much time on there,
yeah,
it was crazy.
and for Shuri to, only have two people guarding her and they just get out scot clean.
Dang, bro.
That
Now
was
the score is going down.
I mean the score is still pretty much the same to me, but
Yeah,
like
you're right. Because that was crazy. That
yeah.
was wild that it was so easy to break into there.
Yeah. And it's like it's Nakia, bro. Like Nakia, like when I seen her come back, I forgot she was in the movie. Honestly, because like the way that she left out in the first movie was like, oh yeah, we're probably never gonna see her again. Type beat. Like and I think it was cool being able to go see her at the little sanctuary or whatever and see like, what she's been doing. But for her to just kind of like step back in the game and have her whole little arc in the movie, I was just like, all right, like, come on.
That's it.
Like,
It's like side character
side
movie.
quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But other than that,
I mean, we got just like the finale and her.
yeah.
We can talk about her dealing with becoming the Black Panther and then meeting Killmonger
Oh,
because
yeah,
that's right
Sherry.
before the end.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, so Sherry had, well, this to me, this, oh, snap. This, to me, this is the, one of the bigger reveals.
Yeah.
just because I didn't put two and two together, because I seen Michael B. Jordan on the red carpet, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. Like they invited him back, you know what I'm saying, to watch the movie again, or to watch this one. I didn't think that he was going to be in this one. Still from like, I don't know why his hair grew. That's semantics though, but
True.
like, I like that he was the one that Shuri saw, because in any other circumstance, who else was she going to be connected to? Because they had a whole little tiff in the first movie. Like, he kept picking on her, you know what I'm saying, like throughout that joint. And if you're looking for somebody that was up until his death, like just, you know, seeking revenge and that like never faded, Killmonger is probably the perfect person to do that, you know. But even in the ancestral plane, I wish we would have saw something that showed a little bit more growth in like his thinking. Like, okay, yeah, like I did it this way, but you could still do this. But here's what I learned from going up against your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. That would have made it to me more of like a little devil on your shoulder type thing versus what we got, which was just like, I'm gonna hype you up and you're gonna jump off the cliff now, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about. What did you think about it?
I mean, I was very impressed. It was a sneaky, subtle way to just have another awe moment in the movie, because we knew she was gonna meet someone. And it was emotional because T'Challa and her dad didn't come for her, and you know she's already a more of a realist, so you know she's taking it even harder because she's like, all this stuff is fake.
Yeah.
And I saw Killmonger. Come on, like.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of like her battling with like, I kind of don't even believe this voodoo stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I really, really needed my brother or my dad to come through, like they wasn't there. Killmonger was there. And, like, so that was just another awe moment. And I mean, it was just such a good way of bringing back a great character.
Yeah.
Knowing that you could not bring back like Chadwick Boseman, like.
Right.
That was just, I don't know why I thought, oh wow, they're gonna do some like throwback. And as soon as he appeared, I
thought it was gonna be like some like Tupac type thing, like where they had the hologram.
I was just like, duh, Chris. Like that would have been so controversial. But I thought it was another great scene in the movie, because when they got these scenes in it, like they are up there. They are some of the best stuff I've ever seen. And it was a great moment, a huge pivotal moment, a switch in her character and her thinking. But I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, so sometimes I wish the characters did kind of learn from the previous movie.
Yeah.
It just kind of seemed like he was the hype man.
Yeah. Like I just wish he would offer some pushback or something to
to be like,
you know, if you go down this road, this way you're gonna end up. Like, or like, you know, like if, you know, there's like, I like how he broke down the hypocrisy of her father and then the nobility of T'Challa, and then it's like, all right, so what are you? And that goes back to us not really know who Shuri was, because even like she had a like, she was more of a comedic device in the previous movie, where like anytime she was on screen, it was either because she invented something or she was joking on her brother. You know what I'm saying? And to go from that to being thrust into the main role, it's like we don't got a lot to work with. So luckily, him and Shuri had, you know, a little tiff in the first movie to where it like made perfect sense when you saw it. But I think it was the anxiety and anticipation of like, dang, who is sitting in that chair?
Yeah.
That had me like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? Like I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe it.
And then right after that scene,
it
gets emotional. She looks at both helmets, and what happens? She's in the black and gold suit. Well, black, gold, and silver. They got some silver in there, but we see the gold, and it makes so much sense why I got gold in there now.
And she always liked that one better too.
True.
So there's
So,
that as well. But I mean, so other than that, now it's time for war, right?
yep, the final battle, the big bash in the end. Namor versus the new Black Panther.
Oof. Oof.
We're not going to talk about the carrier fight scenes and stuff like that. I'm good. We don't got to talk about that.
Now we gotta talk about Shorty's suit. That joke was
yeah,
that joke was
Ironheart.
nah. The first suit was good though. The first Ironheart suit, like the one she made from scratch in the joint, I like that one a lot. But the one she made and for the final battle, yes, bro, yeah.
I don't know what was going on, but when
it was the
appeared
eyes
on screen,
It was
yeah, when it appeared on screen, it kind of looked like,
yeah.
Did I enter a new movie? Like,
right. It's like that. This is a bad Power Rangers suit right here.
Yeah.
Like, so
and it's like Mark 1, Mark 2, whatever it is. So it'll get better for sure.
Yeah, but that whole thing has me hyped for her show. So I'm super excited about that. But not even just her suit, freaking Okoye's suit too. That little blue beetle looking thing. Because I was like, why does she have a suit, bro? Like, what was the point of the heart shape
of those suits? Yeah, it was a little cartoony, also.
Yeah, like I get like the inspiration. I feel like for me it was the colorway and the mask. Like,
yeah, there was something with the mask that kept making me say,
it's definitely inspired off of something like African mask that we just don't know about. Like, but it was just like, man, like it's just not working for me, you know.
I wasn't getting. Oh yeah, that's tough.
No,
I just wasn't getting it. Only the Black Panther suit was I like. All right, that's tough.
Yeah, but even then, it didn't change nothing about the way they fought either.
Exactly, bro. So, exactly.
It's just like, all right, I guess just get a suit. Like, it's not like it's not like Rhodey going from not having nothing.
Yeah, because at least when Rhodey he got more things. You're like,
yeah, true. Yep. Now he's War Machine, and now like it would have been better. But all right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, bro. I like the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I like the initial plan because we got more insight to like, oh, like how does this power actually work?
It's real cool.
Right? And that initial like plan of like, oh, okay, we're gonna dry him out and then we're gonna take him to the desert. I was like, ooh, that's a good idea right there. Because Shuri, like we said earlier, is she has battle experience, but I don't know what about the suit turned her like into just a different character. Like, obviously, she probably gets like all of the knowledge of the previous Black Panthers, like helping her, because she started flipping and all that stuff. And I was like, damn, I was like, yo, this is hard. This is what I've been waiting for. But I'm like, bro, it still felt separate. It still felt like I was watching two separate things,
Yeah.
And then Namor was doing Namor things, obviously holding it down. He held the action scenes down from the jump.
The whole movie.
Yeah. And I don't understand the whole like once I get in the ship, what if he destroyed the ship? Like they didn't think about that. Like and it's like, all right, if they destroy the ship, how are we gonna get back? Bruh. My gosh. Like she did all that to weaken him just to not fight him. And now, he's destroying the ship. Now I gotta fight him. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It was painfully obvious when he just destroyed the ship.
Yes, bro.
Like when you're designing that, okay, we're gonna use the ship, we're gonna find a way. It's a vibranium ship. He has vibranium. He has like, what is it, raw vibranium? Something they said something like that.
Like his spear and then the armor or like the jewelry and stuff that he had on too. Like he was covered in it.
And like you said, why she was just standing back, like
I'm like, yo, you're supposed to start scrapping. Yeah, you're supposed to start scrapping, And even the final fight, bro, was just buns.
I like the final fight.
I ain't like it, bro.
I think it's one of the better fights. I just don't like the end. Like,
there
was something about that. She got stabbed, She
Yeah.
takes it out of her, and then that leap over
Right.
Namor was
Yeah.
weird. Like something about that scene, I was like, this don't look right. Y'all need to reshoot this.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, Wakanda Forever. And then
Yeah.
I
That
was
was
like,
hard.
that was cool, but that leap part,
Yeah.
it just made me seem like she actually wasn't trying to do
What she's trying to do. Yeah.
what the explosion.
Yeah.
I, there was just something about that needed to be rewritten, or they fight more. She gets stabbed on purpose,
Yeah.
to get him in the right angle to do Wakanda Forever on the post, and then it
Yeah.
blow up. Like I just didn't like when she unstabbed herself and then leaped.
Right.
There was something weird about that scene. I may have to go back and watch it, but in the theater, I was like, huh? And then it was like defeated. And I'm like, they just did a Mortal Kombat finisher move on this man. Like,
what did she get stabbed with though? Did she get stabbed with vibranium?
It was like a spear, right?
Yeah, but was it his spear? It might have been the back of it. I don't remember. But Killmonger died from getting stabbed.
True.
So why did Killmonger die and she ain't die? Because they both had the juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just walked it off. Like, you know? Like, it's not, the math is not mathing, bro. Like, I feel like the choreography was standard. You know? Like, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing.
I'm trying to enjoy the movie.
Bro, I'm just saying. Like, the choreography was nothing I ain't seen before. You know? Like, Namor is more of like a brute type of fighter. In a sense, like he's not the Hulk, but he's not, you know, It Man. I don't know what else compared to, but so like that was there, and then you got Shuri, who's not like hasn't been training as the Black Panther for very long, hasn't trained at all really, and you know she already got her little sonic cannons busted off. So what are we gonna do now? You know, and for the explosion to be the thing that ends the fight.
He's already like dehydrated. That's what they're saying.
I know, but I'm saying like the water was right there. You know, like I don't know, and then we don't even see him go back to the water to get his strength back. So for them to be like, she wasn't even holding her stomach no more. Like, I get you're supposed to have like advanced healing and stuff like that, but the logic.
It's a superhero movie.
I know, but it's just like I was like, man, Killmonger died. So, yeah, you just got stabbed, bro. Like, it had been the wood part. I don't know. And then like the way that it was,
like I said, there
it
was
went
no
through
winner.
the suit. Yeah, it was a stalemate, and it went through the suit. But I didn't like I said earlier, I didn't like the stalemate because what was the point of fighting if you could have negotiated to not take over the world and just protect each other? You know, like I was like, bro, like, and it was when it came back and told everybody.
Namor's character flaw. Like deep down, I didn't think he was actually a smart tactician or war tactician, and it just was kind of like he's just a leader. He just happens to be the leader of these people. Yeah, and he's just trying to do what's best for his people.
But his people had him dead to rights, though. He just lost. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He lost, and once he lost, I guess it was over with. But I don't know. I didn't like that.
Like you said, the people had it. Like he had the war won. Mm-hmm. Who in the world defeats the country, then waits a week and then fights him again? Like, come on, bro. And then they were like, "Oh, the detector's in the water. We got to go stop them."
Okay, and it's not like it's not like he had a secret weapon.
He didn't, bro. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like now he had like an ace up his sleeve. Like his power's been the same this whole time.
He did put on more armor, like more gold, or more gold vibranium or whatever he'd be wearing. He didn't get 2 spears and just like he was like, I'm gonna just do the same stuff that I'm doing, and then somehow he's gonna take. It
still look good though.
Yeah, for sure.
It still look good.
But I feel like I like the final battle scene. The way it ends, I'm just like, it's kind of weak sauce. And then the fact that they are stalemate, I'd probably agree with you. I normally don't like conclusions that are like to be continued.
Right.
Like,
and we just, at the end of the day, bro, we need more Black Panther. Can't call Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Black Panther being 10 minutes of it.
I know that was a letdown of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Black Panther only in the end, and because the original Black Panther, it just had so many different scenes where Black Panther was in and out doing like these mission type things.
Yeah. Seeing different sides of what he does.
Yeah.
We saw the sneaky side. We saw the freaking brute force. We saw him come back from a fight. Like overall,
but this is just a different tone of movie overall, and I understand it. So, yeah. And then let's get to the big mega banger.
This would save the movie.
Yeah, probably the entire ticket of the movie.
If this part wasn't in the movie, it would have been mid for me.
Oh,
it would have been mid. But you know, my rank is a little bit different than everybody else's. But I would have said this movie was mid because at that moment I was frustrated. I was like, bro, we in a stalemate, and we just gonna walk away, you know. But before we get to that, so a couple things so y'all know, M'Baku becomes king. Shuri takes a step away. She's going on hiatus. She's going to grieve, and she ends up back in Haiti. She does the ritual with Nakia, and there's a special guest that I was like, ain't no way they did this, bro. I said it. I was like, bro, they blowing my mind right now, and it's to the point where you can't be mad. Like it was like one of the easiest ways to continue the mantle and continue the legacy. And even if they don't do that per se, like because we don't know how, like if we're going to get another time skip or anything, it just, like I said earlier, it's an emotional seesaw. Like it left you out on a high, you know. So we find out that Chadwick and Nikita. Oh, not Chadwick. That we found out T'Challa. We found out T'Challa and Nakia had a baby. The baby's 6 years old now, man. 6.
So I mean that means they got busy before the blip.
Man, he didn't let her go. I thought he let her go. He's like, nah, never again. But like for me, it just goes back to like, man, Nakia could have been such a more integral character in this whole story if in the first movie we got to see more of their relationship, or in any other movie that we've seen Black Panther in, because she's such a standoffish character, like the mystery character, that like you can add this in there and it won't be like a big deal, you know. Like we don't need that much explaining to make it make sense. And I was just like, bro, if this didn't happen, I don't see the purpose of her being in the movie, honestly, because she's not in there for that long. So
yeah, she's just a super spy
at the elementary school, man. Like, but I just like the way they went about it. That part almost made me cry. I was like, oh man, they did it.
I really love this scene because it just wraps up the movie. Like, all the like you talked about, all the loss they deal with, even the queen dying. Like, it was just so sweet to even her ask, like, did mom know? Yeah. And then she was like, yeah, mom knew. Yeah. And he got to meet T'Challa. Mm-hmm. And, you know,
they spent time together.
Spent time together. And it was just kind of like, probably that's the perfect way to end a movie talking about perseverance. Right. Like it was just very beautiful, very touching, and it really helped her out because to know that she has something to fight for is definitely important going forward. Right. So I'm sorry, that scene was like amazing. Yeah. It was definitely worth waiting.
Like, and that, bro, imagine if we walked in and saw that.
I'd be done, probably.
I would have fought somebody, bro.
Yeah, that'd be the maddest I've ever been, because out of all the cutscenes or end credit scenes, that one was so long that it was pretty much a scene in the movie. Right. But it was just so great
Yeah.
Like it's just up there. It's just top.
Yeah. Crazy.
We'll see what happens in the future, but Lil T'Challa, what's his name?
T'Challa.
Yeah, but what was the secret name? It
Oh,
was
his
something else.
Haitian name. It was like I don't know. I don't
I
remember.
can't remember what it was.
I don't know. That's a little that's TJ. I don't know.
Yeah. It was just so exciting. And
Yeah.
the little kid was just like biggest smile in the world.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
oh, this is
he had a little fade. I was like,
yeah.
oh, he looked just like him.
Oh man.
I was
But
geek because he was
that,
cheesing too.
I'm gonna say it again. Three times in one movie. That was some peak
Yeah.
Marvel magic right there. That was perfect. So good job.
Yeah.
Way to close Wakanda Forever.
Man. Oh, I can't believe it, bro. I still can't believe it. It's like we seen that joint Friday, but
Pack theater.
it's still like I can still see it. You know, it's weird, bro. I'm gonna have to see it again. But I think it will be even better. Like I don't know how many times I could watch it.
We didn't see it in
Like
3D either. I know a lot of 3D showings was. I don't know if 3D was good or not, but we normally just see it in like big screen.
yeah. But I was gonna say like I don't know how it fits in like watching them back to back type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly haven't done like a Marvel like watch party. I don't know what you would call it. Like just when you go and watch all the Marvel movies again. I haven't done that in a long time, and I don't know how that would feel in that
It's always a
moment.
little bit different, like at home.
Yeah.
If you don't have like the sound stuff, like in the
Yeah.
theaters is always different. So
Mm-hmm.
it's still fun to do.
Yeah. So any final thoughts about it? Cause I got some.
Final thoughts. You know what? The director did a really good job. This was probably one of the hardest tasks
Man,
in
what?
directing,
Yeah.
and I did walk away impressed what he put on.
Yeah.
Because it's just this is like 10 difficulty. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can really mess this up
It's
bad.
impossible difficulty.
Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to him because
Ryan
uh
Coogler. Go
yeah,
crazy.
they did incredible. And one more thing, the scenes, the artwork or whatever, the shots, it is
Mm-hmm.
very good in this movie.
Yeah.
It's so good that you kind of when you're watching it, you don't even appreciate it that much. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, thinking about all the cinematography they did in it's amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my last thoughts. Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. I think this movie works. Uh, it still hurts at sometimes. Like when I was watching it, I was like, man, like what could have been type beat, you know? But I do got a whole lot of respect for them pulling this thing off, bro. Cause they did it. They did it, bro. They did it. And I think the topics that they covered, regardless of how it might make you feel and like feeling like how you thinking about it all the time, like man, it's like all we be seeing is trauma sometimes. But I think it's important to like, you know, like it's kind of like a lost love letter type beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, cause even everybody's grieving at some level. Like, you know, you in life you lose people. So I think it was an ode to that, and now I want to see the future, bro. I think they saved the franchise. Whether we get like a time jump or not, like I said earlier, I don't know, but I'm gonna be there. And the Black Panther mantle continues, bro. That was one of the huge things about it because I was like, man, this could be it for a long time. Like I don't know. And I think as far as like the cast went, I think like the new people, the old people, they was in perfect sync. Letitia Wright, as much she went through to get to this point, from the ankle injury to the COVID talks, all that, bro, rewrites, everything. Like she held her own as the main character, bro.
For sure,
And
for sure.
Yeah, it was good, bro. It was good. So for me, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was a 7 before the mid credit scene that saved it for me. But like, cause you know you got like the 8.5s. This is like you had to round it up. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no way you put that scene in there, and I just didn't. I was like, it can't be mid now. It's too important. It's too good. So what about you, Chrissy? What are you giving it? It's not a 2, right?
Man, I gotta give this a solid 4. I'm
Oh,
playing. I'm playing. At the end of the day, I was kind of feeling like what you thought. I thought this movie was a 7, but
yeah,
deep down, I just can't. I can't give it a 7. I think this
yeah,
movie's an 8. I think it clears the bar right there.
right.
It is a different type of movie overall, and if I
Mhm.
watch it back, I know like an hour and 30 minutes is more build up, character development for multiple characters,
Yeah.
and a lot of the movie is these other characters dealing with what has happened,
Hmm.
not necessarily what's going on like today.
Right.
And some of that setup for like future Marvel stuff, I kind of wish just wasn't in the movie, but I
Hmm.
understand why it had to be in there. And Namor again is another great villain
Yeah.
in Marvel. Like they're doing a great job with these villains
Yeah.
now. And to wrap up the phase, it is probably the best movie of this phase. I
Mm.
think we got Spider-Man this phase, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Dirty
never
Sprite
mind.
too.
Second, maybe it's second. Yeah, it's right there with Doctor Strange 2, where I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, one is much more of like like a serious movie,
Yeah.
has more, but Doctor Strange 2 is more clear, concise joyride type thing. So it's
Okay.
right there with Doctor Strange 2. I think both of these are like some of the best Marvel movies. And as much as I did think it was a 7 at first, it gets a lot of win columns. It gets a lot of win columns. And even with that weak final scene, I'm gonna notch it into 8. And I would definitely watch it again. I can't wait till it comes out on Disney Plus so I can,
Yeah.
you know, stab it again, break it down again, and say, "Yo, that
I'll
is
stab
kind of
it.
weak."
Yeah.
But overall, I'm gonna give it an 8, and I kind of
Okay.
feel like I'm giving it a bump after thinking about it
Yeah.
hard. But
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
I'll keep
This
it
is the
at 8 for
first.
now.
This is the first time we done made history. We got the same score, bro. Same
I
score.
think so, right?
Yeah.
When you
Usually
said
it's very.
7, I was like, "Dang,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get 8, and he's gonna say 7. That's crazy."
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah, I'm
it's
gonna go with
just
8.
it's too good not to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um.
it feels about right.
Yeah. And maybe who knows? And we'll watch it again in a few years. It might get better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We get more
maybe.
context.
It's just the fact that it's that long that I'm like,
Yeah. It
I
was
don't
the
know.
whole scene too, like of waiting to get in there, just like the whole like that day was
Yeah, I made it
crazy.
longer.
That day was crazy, bro. But Chris, man, another week in the books. What you geeked about, Brody?
Man, I really got nothing. To be honest, I'm about to finish up Andor because I've been late on this
I
thing.
ain't finished it yet either.
Yeah, so that's why
Okay.
I'm wrapped up. You already know we hyped about Terry McLaurin. He done goaded the Eagles. So I'm geeked to
Oof.
see how the football team shapes out, and we'll deal with those dirty Cowboys at the end of the season. But
Dang, dirty. Where is these shots coming from? Golly, I just asked you a question. Nah,
yeah,
it's all good. It's all
that's the only
good.
thing I'm geeked for right now.
Okay.
Probably Andor. I hope it did end good. I've been avoiding anything on it.
Hmm.
Uh, but I can't believe this phase is over. We're about to get into some serious Quantumania. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what are you geeked for? Because there could be quite a lot of things.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm geeked about starting playing ball again. You know,
Oh,
I could still dunk. That
I
was
did not
a
expect
big
that.
that was a big mystery. I didn't know if I could like on a regular rim. Um, but other than that, I mean, anime has been amazing this last like month. What else? What am I really geeked about? Uh, I don't know, man. I feel like it's like it's a slippery slope because like I'm excited to finish Atlanta, but I'm scared because I don't want it to be over. Like I'm tired of stuff ending, bruh. And it's just like
Yeah,
it's it's like the whole like it's getting cold. Well, it is cold out now, but it's
yeah.
like getting to the end of the year. It's just compounding and compounding. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? What is going on? God of War came out. I don't gotta get. But I'm gonna play
Oh,
it
okay, I thought
eventually.
that's what you were gonna say.
Nah, cause I ain't play it yet, so I haven't
Oh,
looked at anything. Um, I'm still undefeated in fantasy. That's pretty good. Last Man Standing. What else? I mean, I only had to give one thing, but that's just where I'm at.
I did want to say the World Cup is coming up in a few days, and I cannot wait to watch it because a lot of, at least the U.S. games, are going to be at 2. So I'll just be getting off work. But the rest of the games were like 5 a.m., 8 a.m. I'm like, yo, I'm never going to catch none of these.
Is our team on? Wait, no, that's just U.S., right?
Yeah, it's like
I don't know nothing about soccer.
Yeah, but it's always it's if you just watch it, it's pretty exciting. I ain't gonna lie, like that at least get you like, okay.
Yeah. Blue Lock got me locked up right now. I ain't gonna cat. That joint go crazy. That joint go crazy.
Okay, real World Cup, anime World Cup. Hey, both. Watch both.
On me. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in again. Wow, man, fumbling the bag. Appreciate y'all tuning in again for another week. We are back on the grind. Videos are gonna be dropping pretty much every day, from clips of past episodes and new ones. And then as far as what we got coming up, the next big movie that's gonna be dropping is Avatar, but that's not till December. So
I probably gotta rewatch the first one, to be honest.
I probably won't rewatch it. I'm not gonna cap. But we still got some shows that we probably end up talking about. We'll probably end up talking about Andor next week, if anything else. And we're gonna start getting to our, lists. We got some lists that we can go down on some of the stuff that went down this year, as far as movies and shows. So a lot of different stuff. I don't know how long those episodes will be. We're gonna figure it out. But I'm super excited for all of that. Shout out to all the new subs on YouTube. You want to see the video version of the podcast, definitely go over there. And shout out to everybody that's been listening on all your favorite audio platforms as well, because I see y'all, man. We see y'all out there, But other than that, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. We got a community poll. We got a community tab on YouTube now, too. So be expecting to see some stuff there. Chris be talking about polls that we can do. And we're gonna start adding that stuff to it. So we're gonna be part of y'all whole week, man. We coming for everybody. We're gonna be #1 freaking TV film podcast in the world one day, bro. So I appreciate y'all tuning in once again for the second time in one pod. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.